Today we are in Exodus chapter 6. Now, Exodus chapter 6 is a continuation from chapter 4 and 5. I think we need to do a quick recap. In chapter 4, when God told Abraham that he will make, Moses, that he will make Moses an Elohim to Aaron, so that Aaron can be his mouthpiece to speak to Pharaoh. In that same context, God told Moses and Aaron that the first thing that Pharaoh would do is that he will not let the people go, because God says, I will harden his heart. And we had a discussion then, and I said that the word harden means to make Pharaoh very stubborn. Now, we saw that it is not about God supernaturally touching Pharaoh's heart or did something to him. It was very much in chapter 5 where we spent some time last week. And when Moses and Aaron went to see Pharaoh and told Pharaoh, let my people go. No, God says, let my people go 3 days in the wilderness. They will do a celebration and then all will be well. It was through those intimidation of Pharaoh that Pharaoh got very upset and was basically saying, who is your God? Who is your Jehovah? And Pharaoh says, I think you all have so much time in your hands that you are too free. And so in response to Moses and Aaron going to see Pharaoh and telling Pharaoh that God wants him to let the people go, Pharaoh responded by oppressing the people even more, not giving them straw. Go and find your straw, but the quota remains. So the oppression actually became quite bad. Now, when we come to the end of chapter 5, Moses and Aaron was at a loss, and Moses was asking God, what happened? You asked me to go and see Pharaoh, and now things are getting from bad to worse. And Pharaoh insisted that not only you don't leave, but now your life is going to be even harder. Now, chapter 6, when we begin today, is a reply to Moses. When Moses came to God and wondered what happened, then the Lord said to Moses, now you shall see what I will do to Pharaoh. You see, chapter 5 has to happen because the proposition by God to Pharaoh hardened Pharaoh's heart. That Pharaoh was saying, who are you? I am Pharaoh, the king of Egypt. He's the God of Egypt. How can your God tell me what to do? And of course, in return, he retaliated against the children of Israel. So now God said to Moses, now you will see what I am going to do to Pharaoh. For with a strong hand, he will let them go. And with a strong hand, he will drive them out of his land. Now, what is this strong hand? The word for this strong literally means he will violently chase them away. He will become so hard that and severe that he will literally chase Israel out of Egypt. And that is what God is going to do between now and then for all the miracles that he will perform, such that at the end of all this series of events, Pharaoh will just chase Israel out and don't want this trouble. But that is verse 1. That is in reply to Moses. When you ask, why are things happening this way? Let me tell you. Now in verse 2, God gave Moses a history lesson. And God spoke to Moses and said to him, you know what? I am the Lord. I need you all to remember, whenever God says this, and he says this many times, and also particularly in the book of Leviticus, he says, Ani, that's I, Jehovah. I am the Lord. And basically to tell Moses who he is. And this name, Jehovah, YHVH, the Yod He Vav He, came in chapter 3. When Moses asked God, what is your name? And that Aher, Asher, Aher, and Jehovah all came into the picture. And now God gave this background story. I appeared to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Now, this word appear basically means let them see. God let Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob see him. But the view that they had of God is God Almighty. And we are more familiar with the Hebrew word El Shaddai. And this is in Genesis chapter 17, where God came to see Abraham. It says El Shaddai. But now God is saying, my name is Jehovah. Yod He Vav He. I am life. This name, well, they didn't see God that way. They saw God by the power of God, and they never saw God from the aspect of life and existence. I have also made my covenant with them, giving them the land of Canaan, the land of their pilgrimage. Now, this one you need to remember. When Abraham, Isaac, right, and Jacob came to Canaan, they came from to Haran and then down south, but they never owned the land. God said to Abraham, one day, 400 years later, they will come back. And so they are termed as a pilgrimage, stranger. They were a stranger to Canaan. Okay, right here. And they are a stranger and a stranger home. So they can't call it their home yet because they don't own the place. And I have also heard the groaning of the children of Israel, whom Egyptians keep in bondage. And so God says, I am hearing the Israelites now. They are complaining, yes, but I hear them. And so God says, I remember my covenant. What is so particular about the covenant is Genesis 15. God said in Genesis 15 is that your descendants, Abraham, will stay in a strange land. And then 4 generations and 400 years down the road, God will bring them back to where Abraham is. And so God says, I have heard and remembered my covenant. Therefore say to the children of Israel, Ani Yehovah, I am the Lord. This is the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I will bring you out from the burdens of the Egyptians, and I will rescue you from their bondage, and I will redeem you with an outstretched arm and with great judgments. Now first, let's work backwards. God's outstretched arm and with great judgments are two and the same idea, meaning God is going to show his power to Egypt as well as to Pharaoh. But now we have a few words. I will bring you out, I will rescue you, and I will redeem you. Now these 3 words are basically telling the same thing. This is in verse 6. And so the first word is bring you out. Right? Bring you out essentially is to go out. is to leave Egypt, right? Leave the burdens, leave the load. This is what the Egyptians is doing to you. I will take you out of the place. The second word is to rescue, and it means deliver. Deliver. Deliver is to come and also take you out, right? Take you out from what? Their bondage. They press you, I will lift you out of their hand. The third one is redeem. Right here. The word redeem, a lot of people tend to think that, well, this is to pay for something. That's not exactly what it means. It can have that understanding, but redeem basically means to return one circle. Now, let me explain to you what that means. They were in Canaan. And this would be Abraham, right? Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And then they came into Egypt. Redeem means to bring them one full circle back. And that is redeem. To bring back one full circle. Back to the place where Abraham was. Okay? So if you remember this, these words will mean something. I will take you out, to go out from here. I will deliver you. I will snatch you away. Redeem means we will go back one circle. So you have to all get out of Egypt and go back to where you came from. By what means? By the power of God, called an outstretched arm and great judgments. See, these are very simple ways of explaining exactly what God will do, right? Now, in verse 7 onwards, all the way to verse 9, this is what God says. I will take you as my people. The word take here is to take possession. This is to take possession. So God says, I'm going to own you now. I will take you as my people. Can you imagine? This is a privilege. The privilege to be the people of the living God. And God says, I will be your God. Right? I will exist to you all as Elohim. And you will be my people. And so here begins a national relationship of people and God. And thereby, my people becomes Israel, and their God becomes Jehovah. So that would be the relationship God is telling Moses. Then you will know that I am the Lord your God, who brings you out from the burdens of Egyptians. Once you know this relationship, now you know why God is going to do all these things. And after you take you out, bring you out means to take out, okay, to go out. Then God says that I will bring you into the land which I swore. What land is this? Bring you into would be to come into the land which God had swore. Basically, in this sense, God has decided that he has committed himself, right? It is God's burden. God says, I will give. And the word give, the word give here is what God says is as a gift, right? I wanted to give this to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and now I will give it to you as a heritage. Now, the idea of heritage, which we always read as heritage, literally means a possession. So God says, I wanted to give this gift to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, but they never actually had it. So it is to be given to the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So these are the people. It will be a heritage. Means they will own the land. Ani Yehovah, I am God. I will do as I say. That under the covenant with Abraham, I'm going to bring you back and I'm going to give you the land. And after hearing all this, Moses said the same to the children of Israel. But they did not heed Moses. Now the word heed is here. They did not hear Moses. Why? Because they were blinded. They were so angry. They had a shortness of wind. Okay, this word here is this word is a anguish of spirit. Could be seen as shortness of wind. And so I guess we could say that they are now very short-tempered, right? Very explosive. They are very temperamental because of what they have gone through. What are they going through? And cruel bondage is literally hard work. Because now they have to make the same number of bricks, but still have to go and look for straw. So under the current situation, their lives are very difficult and they didn't hear Moses. Everything Moses said was what God said. They didn't hear a word. Now in verse 10, God said to Moses again, now one more time, go in. And basically the word says come. Well, come in and go and say this to Pharaoh, the king of Egypt. And what did God want the Pharaoh to do? To let the children of Israel go out of his land. Second time. Right? Second time. Now, look at what Moses said. Moses replied, saying, the children of Israel have not heard me. How then shall Pharaoh hear me? See, if the people I'm trying to rescue don't hear me, what am I saying? But why would Pharaoh do that? For I am of uncircumcised lips. And what does this mean? I am of uncircumcised lips. So is it because I don't know how to speak? That nobody listens to me? That the children of Israel don't hear me? Why would Pharaoh hear me? And so that would be how he has represented himself. That maybe what I speak is not heard, not understood. Now we have verse 13. So in verse 13, God said to Moses and Aaron, why? Because the two of them is going to see Pharaoh, right? Gave them a command. This command is important because that's what they are supposed to do exactly. See, a command given to Moses and Aaron or anyone else by God is expected to be done exactly as was said. So gave them a command, one for the children of Israel, right? That's a command for them. And then for the Pharaoh, that's two. And the command seems to be the same. What was the command? To take the children of Israel out of Egypt. So now you can see that 1 and 2 is spoken to two parties, but it's for the same purpose. The children of Israel needs to know that they are leaving, And Pharaoh, king of Egypt, needs to know that he is letting them go. Now, this is going to be difficult words for Pharaoh. Here in verse 14 is given a little genealogy. Okay? And these are the children of Israel by the heads of their fathers' houses. Whenever a list is given, you must understand that it follows a couple of things. It follows the names of the fathers. And names of the father gives the tribe. Okay? So watch this. The sons of Reuben, that's the firstborn of Jacob, Israel's Jacob. And so we have the few names. We have Hanok, we have Palu, we have Hezron, and we have Carmi. This is from Reuben. And then we have from Simeon, we have Yamuel, Yamin, Ohad, Yakin, Zohar, and Shaul, the son of a Canaanite woman. These are the families of Simeon. Verse 16, these are the sons of Levi. And who are they? They are Gershon, Kohath, and Merari. Right? Kohath and Merari. And the years of the life of Levi were 137. Long life guy. And then we saw in verse 17, the sons of Gershon were Libni, Shimi, according to family, sons of Kohath. And these were important, right? Why do you think they were important? These are the families of Levi according to their generations. And Levi had all these sons, and they all became the Levites. And Moses and Aaron is from the tribe of Levi, the Levites. And they are the ones who are going to be the priests and the chief priests from Aaron. The rest are all going to serve together and take care of each other. And they are the ones that will not have a inheritance. Continuation of the genealogy, Amram, and this is the wife, Jochebed, his father's sister as wife, and bore him Aaron. Now, if you look up here, we need to trace this back, okay? So let me just quickly show you. The sons of Levi, okay, verse 16, the sons of Levi, and we are particularly interested in Kohath. And with Kohath, this is what we know, there is Amram, Itzhar, Hebron, Uzziel. And we are interested in Amram. Why? Because Amram had a wife and bore him Aaron and Moshe. The two are brothers, remember? And this is important. The reason being is that they will be the high priest, and the priesthood is all here with Aaron. Okay? And when you go down further, we see these, okay? The sons of Izhar were Korah, Nepheg, and Zikri. The sons of Uzziel were Mishael, Elzaphan, and Zithri. And the ones that we are interested later on in the book of Numbers is Korah. And he fought with Aaron to say that why would Aaron be priest? I will also want to be priest. And then God had other ideas. And then Aaron himself took Elisheva, the daughter of Aminadab, the sister of Nashon, his wife, and then he had 4 sons: Nadav, Avihu, Eleazar, Ithamar. And in the book of Leviticus, we saw that Nadav and Avihu were killed. And so there were only 2 sons of Aaron left later. The sons of Korah were mentioned, and the sons of Korah were fine. But Korah himself were destroyed. Okay? Eleazar, Aaron's son, had Phinehas, right? Had Phinehas. And these would be the interests for us as we go on, because they are from the lineage of Phinehas. And this will be the lineage of Aaron. All right? Now, these are the children of Israel that Aaron and Moses spoke. It says, take them out from the land of Egypt according to their armies. Now, here would be the first time the word army is mentioned. Verse 26. The word army is very interesting because it is not our regular word for army. This word is Ziphotam. Ziphotam comes from the word Zava, and army would be the ones who receive commands. That's why the English term it as army. They are the ones who's going to receive the instructions from God and go to fight. That's why we call them armies. But as you know, it's more vivid, right? And these are the ones who spoke to Paro, the king of Egypt, to bring the children out from Egypt. These are the same Moses and Aaron. Okay? So Aaron and Moses is important in the entire story from here on. Verse 28. And it came to pass on the day the Lord spoke to Moshe in the land of Egypt that the Lord says, Ani Yehovah, speak to Paro, the king of Egypt, and say, and all that I say to you. And Moses said to God, behold, I'm of uncircumcised lips. How shall Pharaoh heed me? And we saw that earlier on. This is actually to say that my language is not accepted. The way I speak, maybe, the things I say, why would Pharaoh heed me? What is important here on is that God is now telling Moses that the one who is going to speak on his behalf literally is going to be Aaron. And so whatever excuses Moses is giving for whatever the reason he's saying it, God says, I've got it covered. I have given you Aaron. That is why, Moses, you are to be an Elohim to Aaron. And what I tell you, Moses, you will tell Aaron, and he will see you as Elohim. And he must say exactly what you tell him. And you will tell him exactly what I say. And so that was the relationship between God, right, and Moses and Aaron. That is how that relationship is now constructed. And with this, we will end chapter 6. Any questions? Any questions? Okay.
Pastor, uncircumcised lips means he cannot speak properly, is it?
It appears that he is saying something which cannot be understood or would not be heard in a way that nobody bothers with him. So it's like an idiom. It's like an idiom. In chapter 4, Moses said he's got heavy lips, slow to speak.
Does it mean the same? Uncircumcised lips here?
Not so much as slow, but the idea is his speech is a problem. He thinks he has a problem that people don't understand him. Right now you're seeing a very challenged Moses. Not the brave Moses later on, but the very human and weak Moses. Trying to give all kinds of excuses. I think we can see that Moses didn't come out in the story as a hero day one. He was slowly growing into that role. Okay? All right. See you next week. All right.
Bye-bye.